Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking with Bro. He's going to share a bunch of early ice tips that'll help you catch more fish this season and the month ahead. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Bro. He's going to start off by talking a little bit about why he likes weeds so much this time of year.
Hey everybody, Brian Brosdahl here. You know, early ice, here's a tip for you when you're going out fishing. Always start at the weed line. If you're chasing walleyes, jumbo perch, or anything else, panfish, they always start at the weed line. Sometimes panfish will dump in deeper basins in different parts of Minnesota and outside of Minnesota, but there's always fish near the weeds. And spear fishermen see all the same fish that we're targeting coming through their hole. So remember, where the spear houses are, there's probably going to be perch and panfish, there's going to be walleyes, and that's the neat thing. Vegetation holds life, has a lot of insect life. Everything that hatches out of the weeds are still there, and some of the weeds are still green and healthy. Those are the best.
All right, so weeds are super critical, but another type of area that Bro likes to look for is different bottom transitions where it goes from harder to softer bottoms. So Bro's gonna break that down next.
If you're fishing and you have a lake that's absolutely full of weeds and you can't seem to find the fish, you gotta find different bottom structure. Just hard bottom alone ain't gonna hold fish, or hard bottom meets mud. The mud is where life begins. All the bloodworm eggs fell in there. There's bloodworms, and which are the midge flies in the summer. They dump their eggs and they sink. So that is germinating. It's full of bugs, and so finding that hard to soft bottom edge, that's gonna hold all the fish on a lake that you're not finding fish.
Next up, Bro is going to talk about targeting fish on shoreline connected structure and also big flats, aka food shelves.
If you're targeting walleyes, early ice, just remember you could go past them. I don't care if you're fishing leech, red, Lake of the Woods. There's a whole lot of walleyes that are on shoreline connected structure. And some lakes, you know, are 50, 60, 100,000 acres. Shoreline connected structure could go for miles, but it still connects to the shoreline because in the fall everything comes in. The whitefish spawn, minnows are coming in the cooler water. So just remember, everything's started. It's a reset button in the fall. Fish come in to feed, they haven't left. So the first place I would look is shoreline connected structure. Whether you're on Leech Lake, it could be a big point that juts out into the lake, and something that faces the main basin is where I look as a guide. Another thing, here's a tip for you. If you want action, you can never beat fishing a big basin lake and fishing big flats. Flats hold fish, just like cows grazing in a pasture. Perch will move along these flats and eat crayfish, they eat minnows, and perch are cannibals. And there's a whole bunch of perch in the lakes right now, little ones. And the bigger perch follow under the schools and pick them off when they can. So you find these big flats, and flats that where there was weeds or the end of the stubble going down to deeper water. They're not going to just jump into the deep water. They're going to be in areas where the flats come up to the main weed beds, the food shelves.
All right, now Bro is going to talk about the importance of bite windows and also some of the other characteristics that make spots not just good now and then, but consistently good.
Target walleyes when they bite. Red Lake, daytime bite, still better at night. Lake of the Woods, super good, but I seem to always catch my giant ones right at dark. In the area I'm fishing in, which is northern Minnesota, but not the darker water, walleyes during the day, they're going to be in the thickest weeds, and so you're going to fish in little clearings between. So I use my Humminbird Explorer and I look to see where there's a little low spot in the weeds. I'll drill that open and I'll sit there and fish and give them a chance to swim through. You know, some places you could chase walleyes later in winter when they're on structure. Give them a chance to swim through. Day bite walleyes, you got to get in the jungle and jig tungsten spoons, thumper spoons with a minnow head, and sometimes a whole minnow. If you're targeting bigger walleyes, the walleyes come through. You're going to catch pike, you're going to catch bass, but just remember, you're going to catch walleyes during the day. Then at dark, find an edge, a place where that dumps down to the basin. I like to face the basin off a weed bed, off the food shelf. Those areas hold walleyes at dark, and some spots recharge every night. Anytime you go there, there's gonna be walleyes. Those are spots that have a definite difference. They might have logs, they might have rocks on top, but it faces the muddy basin. So basically, you know, just a little cliff overlooking the Grand Canyon. That's where the walleyes are going to bite every single night. There's some spots you'll get them one night and they're done, like different humps and structures on Winnie, Cass, Leech. They'll be there, and then the next day they're not there. Well, that's not a resilient spot. They take weeks to charge. The best spots are the spots that have all the features in one and face the basin. That's my tip.
All right, now it's time to talk presentation. Bro's gonna break down some of his favorite baits and also the type of meat that he likes to use this time of year.
There's a lot of different lures and baits you could use for fish. Let's break it down. Panfish lures. I love the Northland pre-rig tungsten because it has little plastic tails ready to go, already hooked on. Hard to see when you're out in the wild, you know, so they're already hooked on. Tie with a little loop knot, and make sure when you're fishing those for panfish, stop at the bait shop, pick up the 3 food groups: maggots, waxworms, and minnows. And you're set, because sometimes they want a little chandelier maggots. Other times they want a waxy or 2 on there, especially if you're using a small tungsten spoon. But smaller spoons are phenomenal for crappies and bluegills. So you want to think, you know, from a 32nd ounce 4-inch spoon to a 1/8 ounce tungsten buckshot rattle spoon. Hang a waxworm on there or 2 and leave the other trebles empty. You don't have to load up waxworms on the trebles, but maggots, chandelier. I mean, so you can't even hook another one on. Works great. Tiny minnow head. So crappie minnows, take the head, put it on there. If you're fishing probably for big panfish, you want to catch those. So, you know, make sure you got some bait on the spoon, and spoons are awesome. Pre-rigs, spoons, and then I also keep tungsten, mudbug, gill getters. Mudbugs drop fast. And in the name, they give you a clue. Mudbug, pound the mud. So great for perch, great for everything, but get you down there fast, and they're tungsten. Gill getters are flat, so they do a forward dart. You just got to add the tail to the kite so you can get it to move forward, and which is a waxworm or plastics. But I always have small spoons tied on, and nothing has been better than small 4-inch spoons. From a little 32nd ounce to a 16th ounce. Works everywhere on the planet, through the ice, for panfish. And as we start thinking about perch, thumper spoon's awesome because it draws in perch from a distance. It tumbles to the side. Sometimes it does the water slide down. Every time you jig it and drop it, it does something different. But make sure to do full jigs and let it do its thing. Thumper spoon with a minnow head. Don't put too big of a minnow head because you're going to change the action. You want that thing to really move, and try metallic colors. You know, the perch patterns, glow patterns towards dark, great for perch. And small tungsten baits. The slim spoon is all tungsten with a little kicker tail. Drop that down in the basin. If you get perch, they're roving the basin in the 20s to 30s. And if you're out in the Dakota, sometimes you'll find them in the 40s on those big lakes like Devil's Lake. Remember, that gets you down there quick. And you get these little windows where the perch come through. So you're deer hunting them. You're fishing in a deep water, somewhere where they're going to come pass through. You got to get down there quick because they come through in little pods of 6 to 12. And so the more you get down there, the faster you get some more. And then you got to wait for them to come back. So the slim spoon, fast dropping, flashy, cool, and just be ready. Get a couple of different colors or buy all the colors because you never know what they're going to bite on. Wash colors. And then the tungsten buckshot rattle spoon, phenomenal for perch. But it is my go-to for walleyes. I love the thumper spoon in shallow weed beds because you're dealing with a short space and you need maximum action in a short space. So the thumper spoon rocks shallow water. Deep water, I like the buckshot rattle spoon in that tungsten. It's so heavy. And because it's a hard metal, there's no plastic, there's no lead. It's solid tungsten, and it's got a brass rattle. So guess what? It makes a lot of noise. Draws fish in from a distance. Drop it down, stop a few feet off the bottom, and jig it and rattle it. Fantastic whether you're fishing weeds or on top of rocks, sandbars, steep breaks, all that stuff. It's going to bring fish in, and as they come in, don't stop jigging it. Don't just stop in your tracks. I like to slowly pull it away, and the walleyes will crush it. Set the hook and bring them in. And remember, big walleyes get wild at the bottom of the hole. Let them go down a few times. Don't just horse them up. You'll rip their lip. And good luck fishing. Make sure you load up on Northland tackle, tungsten, pre-rigs and be ready to fish for all the species and pick up the 3 food groups: maggots, waxworms, and minnows.
All right, that's about all we got for you in this video. Special thanks to Bro for sharing a bunch of really good tips. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something, make sure to hit that little red subscribe button down below because we have a lot more awesome content coming in the future. And until then, we will see you in the next one.